Hi, Stevie.
And greetings all, and welcome to a belated start to episode number 7, lucky 7. But we're here. So thanks, Adam. Thanks, JG. Good to see you guys tonight.
Hi. It's it's been a day. I apologize, guys, for getting here a little late. They just heard my day, and to at the risk of boring all of you, I'm not going to go through it again. But it's been a lot of money has been spent today, and well, I mean, I guess yeah, I did not spend. Speaking of Stevie and Jason, I did not spend enough money on fuel last weekend. I'm sure we're going to talk about that a little bit.
Yep, being a little stingy. I understand. I had to save up for your purchases today.
Exactly.
And in this economy,
I know
sacrifices have to be made.
It does. You got to make sacrifices somewhere. I just wish I would have sacrificed a little more today to put an extra 0.2 gallons in my Formula V.
Yep.
Yeah, just didn't quite make the final lap there, did you?
I did not. Speaking of, you guys ready for it?
Let's go.
Sure. Yeah.
That's all about to kick off in just a couple of moments' time. Waiting for that pace car to go back down pit lane and put the field in the hands of
FB's Oulton Park. Oh, we had a crazy field. I think we had like 30 something.
Yeah. Broadcast brought them out. It's going to be a good season.
Massive shout out to Joshua Wilkie as well.
Yep.
He produced this one.
Yep. Ron and Josh on the call for Josh's first commentary, and he did a great job.
Really did.
Looks like only one car actually kind of got off in the grass there. Really, we got somebody out there. You're doing very well here, getting through the chicane.
Whoops.
Oh, that was not the first time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I believe, Jason, that was the moment when I was like, oh no, I just wrecked somebody.
Yeah. But it was more my fault. Thor and I were side by side, and I lifted a little too much to let Thor get single file.
Yep.
And then Simon just misjudged it a little bit and ran into the back of me. This is classic V's right here.
Oh yes.
And even a little further back in the pack, I think it's all S2 drivers.
I want to talk about this part right here and the next chicane. The fact that anybody made it through that. There were a lot of wrecks, but the fact that anybody made it through it was amazing. And by the way, Michael McConnell, if you ever watch these podcasts, dude, I hope to have you around every weekend when I'm racing. He is the cleanest, hardest racer I've ever seen on iRacing.
Yep. Yeah, Michael was awesome. And he was having a blast too.
Oh man, I was having so much fun.
Yeah, Thor and I got away a little bit, pretty much on lap 1.
We realized.
It turned into a dogfight.
We realized pretty quickly. I was like, okay, we're going for it. We are now battling at this point.
Yeah, you're not going to catch them, so have some fun.
Wow. Yep, it's turned into a bit of a hornet's nest here for sure.
Oh, it is going to be pandemonium, but it is going to be exciting to watch.
This.
Meanwhile, the front two runners. Oh my
No.
God!
Look at this! Ooh! Almost thought about 3 wide there.
Yeah.
So I did that. I saw Alan peel off to the right, and I was like, Alan, nope, you are not passing me. So I peeled off to get past Michael.
This is kind of similar to what happened to Simon.
Yes.
Amazing save by Jim there. I thought for sure he was going to hit the tire barrier. Michael getting that draft lap.
Man, good job, Michael, but I don't know who made that car number 244's paint job, but it's pretty nice.
It's pretty. Yeah, it was up there slinging some dirt too.
Whoa, Stevie. Oh, yes, it was last weekend. I didn't want to sling dirt on this track, and I sling a little bit.
Yeah. Well, you got the brown on there, so nobody knows.
Exactly, that's true. Oh, this was so much fun. This whole race, man, it was like this. It was just...
V's are just all about that. They always produce just such good racing and fun.
I think this is when Adam escaped.
Yep.
Smelling it right here.
Yep.
Got to sort it out before the chicane. And then, yeah.
Alan was like, no, here we come. Shout out to Alan as well for making it happen clean. He fights hard too, but he's very clean as well. All three of these drivers that I fought this weekend were amazing.
That was very good. I'm actually really, really impressed here. These guys are racing each other very respectfully and clean.
Like what Joshua just said.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine that.
Adam escapes, and then, oh, watch this. This is so good. This is probably the highlight of the race right here. Send it 3 wide.
Holy schmolies. Oh my goodness gracious.
And made it through.
Well
And
done.
Made it through. And made it through.
Wow.
With those 4 wide misadventures heading into turn number 1. But Rodriguez running in 6th.
So,
However, in the position he finds himself in, he could very well
finally gets a little too crazy.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. Oh, we've got a big accident there. I believe that was Jesus as well. No, it was not. Jeff Jacobson.
Bound to happen eventually. Yeah, they just got kind of stacked up. Alan ran a little wide. Was off speed. And then Jeff just kind of lost track of where Jesus was. Didn't realize he was alongside him, and they locked wheels, and
Oh.
Yeah, it was
There
pretty
goes.
gnarly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the fight that has been slowly cooking up between
Here we go, Stevie. Here we go.
Yeah. Last lap, huh?
Thor was trying to get in my head the whole race. He's always peeking the nose at every corner, so I just stopped looking in my mirror because I knew he was gonna wait.
Was that your camera work, or is this Wilkie's camera work right now?
This is
Because this, oh,
This is all Wilkie, yeah.
let's go,
man.
Joshua.
Right?
Yeah. Wow.
Caught my mistake out of the first chicane.
Yeah. Oh, just a little off there.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
You guys were just.
Yeah, I mean that's the incredible thing about Weekend Warriors is you have people like Thor, who you know he's not going to wreck you. He's going to leave you enough room, so you know, yeah, you can battle super hard, race super close. Yep, here comes the draft. Gotta send it.
Adam's falling down the running order. I heard
I
that.
wonder why Adam fell down the running order.
Yeah, it's the
Like Jason says, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I was shocked to get this run. I didn't think I had a chance.
Yeah. If you wouldn't have got the inside there, it would.
I cut as much of the track as I could.
Yeah.
Cut as much as I could. But yeah, on the broadcast timing screen, also shout out to Michael, I think it was his first FE race. Bring home P3. Outland P4. Guido somehow survived that crash. I think he hit Jeff, still survived. Let's go Guido.
Yeah. Wheels in chat saying hi. Kudos to Jason for giving enough space.
Yep.
Yeah, we got Daniel Zippy Salmon in here just giving me all kinds of crap right now. Listen, man.
But somebody did the
Didn't pay
jump a
enough
little
for it.
early.
Didn't pay enough for fuel. Yeah, you took my last 30 cents for that extra half a gallon I needed, and you put it into a flag, Daniel.
Yeah, again, I mean, if you were in the Discord, I told everybody how much fuel they needed, so.
Oh, there you go.
Just saying. Yeah, huge shout out to Thor. That was an amazing race. It was so much fun. We didn't battle as hard as the people behind us, but that last lap was incredible. Again, yeah, huge shout out to everybody else in that race. There were some incidents, but for the most part, super clean. There wasn't a big field wrecker. So yeah, well done by everybody as always in that league.
Absolutely, yeah. In the chat, real quick, Furball Racing, Michael. I want to shout you out again, man, for the race we had on Saturday. I've told all my friends about it. All my friends have gone back and watched it. you and Alan DeGasis are two of the cleanest people I've ever raced in iRacing ever, and I want to thank you so much for that. And you guys are the reason I will be back, and I will keep coming back if we can keep having races like that. 100%.
Yeah. Welcome to the Weekend Warriors, Adam.
Oh man, it was just unbelievable. Well, are we ready for the FFs?
Yep.
So here's the deal,
Kick it off.
Stevie. I'm gonna have to have you do this one because there is a splinter in my finger from cutting up some stuff this afternoon. I've got to go get it fixed. So
First going down pit lane. The field is now in the hands of
Navarra.
Ian Joyner. He's going to go very, very early. The green flag hasn't even
Yeah,
come
Sunday
out. He's already on his way. Some
was a
drivers
little bit of a
stacking up, heading to the
flashback
final
for
corner a
me.
little bit
It's
farther
for
in.
the
That's Ian Joyner.
ultimate
And for
challenge
James
of the
Beard
week
for now,
before
Oh, yeah.
because
making a great run,
oof,
shotgun
Navarra
into
and
turn
Snetterton on
number
the same
one.
day
The
was
fastest
brutal.
right-hander
Yeah.
character still
Super
going side by
challenging
side
tracks.
Into 2 and 3, trying to scrub off as much
Yeah,
lead
Navarra
in
is
those
not
Formula
an
Ford
easy
cars,
track
and
to get
James
down.
Berry
Mm-mm.
two-wheeling it, heading through after hitting that curb on the inside.
Still
of turn
side
two,
by
but right now
side.
it's Ian Joyner still leading it. Barry in second.
Once again,
Antonio Reese making up some moved
these
on
guys
top. Meanwhile,
leaving
looking a
room
bit
and
farther
racing
in the
clean.
back,
It's
some drivers
Yep.
negotiating their way, heading through the really tough sector at
Shout
the
out to
beginning
Antonio
of
on
this
P3.
lap. Gotta tell you what, though, turn 5
Yeah.
that I believe the leaders are either going through or about to head
We
through
also have a
just couple
Yanshi
of
Lin
moments time.
sighting
That has
this
always been
weekend.
the hardest
Oh,
corner
yeah.
for me.
And
It feels
two of
like
the
you're
races,
running over
wasn't
a
it?
sinking
Yeah,
swamp.
both of
He
them,
was
yeah.
here and the
Got
Spec
caught out by the
Fords.
challenge in turn
Mhm.
5. As
So, yeah,
Garrett's
good to
now
see
dropping
Yonksi
down the
back.
running order. There's Garrett's on the outside. Don't bring a roll, otherwise
Yeah,
we're
also
going
we
to
had
be in
a
for a
30 car
roller
field
for
for this
Ian
one as
Joyner.
well, or
Meanwhile, he's on a
29.
roll. He just steamrolled past James
So
Berry
yeah,
to slip
great
his way up
participation
into the
across all
front.
three
However,
leagues.
he ran wide heading
Yeah,
This-
I think
this-
that's just
That's
going to
gonna
be
allow
growing
James
during
Berry
the
to slip
season.
in right
Since
Yep.
we're
in
getting
front.
out
Well
of
done from Berry to keep
summertime
a
and back
calm,
into the
cool, and
fall.
collected
Yep,
head. That's the
lots
thing
of
with James
people
Berry.
coming back.
He does not crack under pressure.
This battle at the front was great between James and Ian. Ian, his first race with us.
Of races with him. However, he
Oh,
finds
yeah.
himself in a hornet's nest of Formula Ford race
And
cars.
I think
and
we
the rest
had-
of the drivers involved.
There's
Meanwhile,
another one
James
that's
Berry
welcome
and
back.
Ian Joyner still going side by side. Joyner trying to stick it around the outside. That's
No,
a
I
bold
don't see
move.
it
I
yet.
don't think it's going to be entirely successful.
Oh,
though.
Tim Stano.
Ashley Williams now got
Yep.
the
Yeah,
inside
Tim
line,
is
unless
back
he can
for
hold
this
onto it
race.
on the outside of
I am
3.
glad you
Got that
guys.
inside line through the king
Okay,
of
so it is
4, and
Stano,
Joyner's
not
gonna get the
Steino. I
move
think I was
done.
calling him
That
Steino
was
for a
an
while
bold
there.
and
So
audacious move from the
As long as
driver
I know
of
it's
the one
Stano,
car, but he
that's
still
what
And-
we've called him.
So that
It's also
slow
Yanshi.
trickle of drivers coming down
Yanshi.
pit lane, I
Yanshi,
feel
what did
like
I
it's
keep
only a
saying?
matter of time before that trickle
Wanchi,
comes into
Wanchi. I think I kept saying.
Yuanchi?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. It's fine.
I think that may have been. It was Wanchi Lin spinning from
Wanchi.
Oh, speaking
Wanchi.
of,
However, a lot
skill
of
issues.
these drivers did, and Jorg Mani is one of them. He's still
Lights go
leading
out.
in the Masters category, running 6th
This-
overall right now. And he's got
currently,
one
this is my
110 to
biggest pet
himself.
peeve with iRacing right now is the
McConnell
lighting.
However, look a
When it
little
goes
Oh,
from
yeah.
like,
There's Yanchi
um,
Lin and the number
Sunny
30
to cloudy.
Lots of
Ugh,
these
it
drivers
just the
are
lights go out, I
fixtures
can't see
of this
anything.
series, so it's really tough to try and shock them.
But yeah, so
At this
Yanshi had
point
to
in
spin,
time, you
he's
can see
catching
Mani
back
trying
up
to
to us,
catch
and then
McConnell by surprise. And look at
Mani
Yanchi
was
trying to go
not
from
wanting
2 for
to
1
sit behind
here
Michael
right now.
anymore.
Moved
I
on.
think he
Paul
wanted
McConnell
to
just on
make
his way
sure
over
he
to
got
60,
Yanshi's draft
stuck on
as
the
he went
outside
past.
line.
Yeah.
Heading into turn number 11, however, he gets the move done. Is talking about this fight that's still continuing between all these drivers. Jorg Mani trying to hold off
Yanshi with the
Lin.
send.
However, I feel like it's a losing effort. Yanshi is definitely
Yeah,
chomping
going
at
in
the
under
bit to try
Michael.
to reclaim the
Yep.
spot that he found
Or,
himself in.
yeah, under
Again,
Mani
good
anyway.
and clean.
Now
Yep.
running
Oh, is that
in
Oh yeah,
five,
yeah.
right
Yanshi's
back
another
down
one
between themselves
where
and
you know he's
Jason
going to leave you
Green.
enough room. He's not
Still
going to wreck
maintaining
you.
about the same, about a half a
And if he
second, however,
does
just
accidentally,
enough
he'll
for
lift
Yanshi to be
and wait
in
for
the
you.
draft. I'm curious if
Yeah.
Yanshi is going to try and get a move done on
Yeah,
the
that's
draft.
happened several times in the Weekend Warriors races. Somebody
Yep.
will accidentally wreck it, and then they'll back out of it and let you have the position back. We've got some really good sportsmanship.
Tufts now exiting. Curious, this is still not
Yep.
going to work out.
Yeah, so
too well
we
for
had, I think
Antonio Reese,
we
don't
had
think.
I had
There you
like
can
2
see
laps of
Daniel
fuel
Tufts
left,
exiting. You got
so I didn't want to
Mani
pit
and
with everybody
McConnell
else.
in
So
the
I
fast
noticed,
as
I
well.
knew Yanchi was
About
going to
to
overtake
exit
me in
the
that
pits
lap,
in
so I
just a
pitted
couple of
early.
moments' time.
Mm.
I don't
To not
believe
lose
this will
time.
work out terribly fantastic.
This was
for Antonio
spicy.
Reese. However, he still may be able to reach
Yeah,
the
here we
lead
go.
in the Masters category. There's Reese
Mani,
sweeping by.
I think
Mani
Mani
is
and I
going
were
to
side
be
by
just
side out of the
barely
pits in the
in
SRF
front.
last season
I
as
don't
well.
know
Oh, yeah.
what is going on between Ian Joyner and James
And then these
Berry
guys,
here. I don't know if
and
they have
well, I
just
guess I think
little
Yanchi
bit
went a
of
lap
bigger
further.
fuel tank. The
No,
fact
they all
that
pitted on
they're
the same lap,
still
but yeah,
saving
they
as much fuel as this. Oh, and
yeah,
they
their
both
driving
decide
style
to go in
uses a
together.
lot
That
less
was
fuel than the rest of us, so they're able to go very far into the race. Super close up at entry.
in this 40
Yeah,
minute
that's a tight
weekend
one.
Warriors
Yeah.
race to
This
kick
is a
off
big
this
deal right
24th
here.
season.
Yeah.
It's going to be a
Barry
fight
gets
between
him.
Joyner and Barry,
And I
Barry
think
gets a
after
much
the
quicker
race,
time
Ian said he
down
just
pit
put in
lane
too much
compared
fuel.
to
He didn't
Joyner
need to
as
take that
Oulton
much.
leapfrog in front of the driver, the number
Yeah,
one
this is
car.
his first race,
And
so
that is
he's
exactly what
learning
that
that.
interval is
Mhm.
now at the front.
And to be fair, I
Look
mean,
out
he didn't put
2.4
in
now between
much
Barry and
more
Joyner.
extra.
But
So
Yeah.
look out, Jason Green. Jason Green
Oof.
has been caught
This
by
was-
the Masters drivers.
oh my God, I don't. I honestly, I
Don't
still
look at
don't
your
know.
mirrors.
Yeah, I don't. I still don't know how I kept him behind me. He was way quicker after the pit stop, and he was sending it. He was trying everything to get past.
I seem to remember telling, obviously not telling Jason personally, but in the broadcast, I was like, Jason, don't look back. Just
Mhm.
drive. Do not look
Yep.
back, Jason.
Mhm.
Complex of corners. That is not exactly where
And
you want to catch
unfortunately,
a
Paul
lap
ends up right in
car.
front of us.
Jason Green going to try to find his way around. He goes a little
Fine.
bit wide there, trying to get a good exit. Look out, Paul
Yeah,
Jackson.
It's fine.
Oh
It's fine. Plenty of
my
room.
goodness.
Yeah.
Only has 2 more corners left to go until he can bring it home and
Little
clean
spooky.
all in one piece. The fight between Monty and Reese not really heating up at the moment, but James Barry coming to
Yeah, well done,
appraisal
James.
at this
Well done,
point.
Ian.
He is probably going to try and sell his ass and move
Absolutely
into a better
flying
one.
out
He
there.
has definitely earned that sort of upgrade because he has brought the thunder
And
at the
Yanchi,
open race of the season.
spinning,
James
still
Barry
gets
gonna
third.
take the checkered flag to
Classic
win the
Yanchi
upgrade
things.
for the
Guy's
former
incredible.
Weekend
And going back to the
Warriors
sportsmanship
Championship,
thing,
Ian
yeah,
Joyner
he's
going to finish
the
right
epitome
behind
of
the P2, and
sportsmanship.
Yanchi Lin gonna
Did
end
you
up
catch
in
the
final
interviews on
podium
this one,
position
Jason?
for third. Meanwhile, the
I
fight
don't know.
between
Actually, I
Monty
didn't listen
and
to him on this one.
Reese
So,
in the
Stevie, I
Masters
do want you to
category
know,
ends
if you
with
go back and
Monty
watch the
taking
SRF
the
race,
first
which I'm sure you
Masters
will,
checkered flag
there's a
of the
reason
season.
that the
Gonna
word shit
follow
was
our
said a few
SMB
times,
colleague, Mr.
because
Joshua
Jörg
Rogan.
Monty
He's going
may have
to
had
way
the
to
best
Astro
interview
finish.
Yes.
ever.
Yes, I heard
So-
I heard
Yeah,
that.
I have to listen to that.
Yeah.
Win in Spec
Yeah,
2.
that was funny.
Alrighty, there we go. Here are the results from this opening race of season
What
4
is it, a
2024 for
1.6
the Formula Ford Weekend
seconds or
Warriors
something?
Championship. That's the Brit James
Margin of
Berry
victory?
taking the
Mhm.
checkered flag when everything is said and done. Only
The
1.7
largest
seconds.
by far for the
Technically
weekend.
1.688 when everything was said and done between himself and Ian Joyner. Joyner with a fantastic drive.
Not giving
in the
anything
open course
away,
of the season,
but
in the end,
Yeah.
it wasn't
Yeah,
enough
it was-
to take
the-
checkered
the next one's a little
flag.
close.
Yanchi Lin with a
Yeah.
radical recovery drive after a
Yeah.
spin.
Got a little wild.
Podium in third. Daniel Tuff's another Brit.
But yeah, shout out to hopefully Yanchi keeps racing with us, because you know, James, Ian, Yanchi, Daniel are all pretty much around the same pace.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're having some good battles at the front. I'm not on their level, so I don't include myself there. Yeah, great. Finally a good race for Monty. He didn't get a snake
Yeah.
in this race.
Yeah, he's
In this race.
maybe
Um,
this season.
Yeah.
Maybe this season he got rid of the
Mm-hmm.
monkey on his shoulder.
Oh.
He's in the Formula Ford.
Still early.
Yeah, great job, Monty. Michael as well. I was surprised. I was kind of sitting behind Michael at the beginning because he was way quicker than me in that practice session we did at him.
Yeah.
And he's quicker. I think he was quicker in quali and in practice for that session. So I was like,
Right.
okay, Michael will keep me with the front.
Yep.
But yeah, still shout out, good race for Michael. Joshua taking the Spec 2 win as well. So,
Yeah. It was
Good job, everybody.
good, and I will tell you that I actually did run this race, or not run this race, but I ran in a practice session that Jason Green put up. Holy crap, was I slow, guys! I mean, it was insane how hard this track. I did not realize this track
Yeah.
was this hard.
It's
Mhm.
it's a tough one. It really is. You got to this one. You got to spend some time to learn it. And the one coming up this week for the Spec Fords, the Caldwell Park, is another tough one that
Oh,
you're going to spend hours on to learn
Mhm.
it.
we got to
So,
talk about
heads
that.
up, guys.
Yeah.
Heads up, guys. You better practice this week.
Yeah,
If we-
don't if you show up on Sunday without doing practice, you're gonna probably won't last very many
You're
laps.
not going to have a good day. You won't
Yeah.
have a good day.
If you don't mind, Stevie, why don't we bring up Cadwell Park here after we go through these SRFs, because I want to talk about that for just a second.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just a second. Okay.
Yep.
All right, here come the SRFs.
The Weekend Warriors are some of the best
Look at that
racing
field.
action that we have
Yep.
on the entirety of
39
racing,
cars, I
certainly
think
on
we
the
had.
entirety
Let's
of
go.
YouTube. Gives you
That
more
was
reason
absolute
to tune in
misery
and
on the
follow this
producer, by the
series,
way,
which is about to
aka
start
me.
in
Wait
just a
till
couple
we
of
get
moments.
up to
On
our
the green
normal
flag
45,
LBS,
50
for
cars.
Maurizio Nazelli, and
Mhm.
he will lead
That's
that
on you,
as Green
Daniel.
in
Get
the
ready
number
for that.
44
Anyways.
car gets a very good start. Marco Panera, meanwhile, feeling some pressure from the reigning Spec 1 champion.
Marco's
Jason
back.
Green
He's
together
a
side by side,
Mhm.
heading off into
3,
turn
4,
number
5-time
1, looking
champion.
Yanchi Lin as well,
Yep.
pretty much uncontested. running in fourth. Meanwhile, they got
Here it comes.
Yeah, we had
there it goes.
bodywork flying all the way
just
up
too many
Turn-
cars.
Turn one,
of a spectral
triple
Ford
full.
race car, probably
Yep.
destined to end up on eBay.
Yeah,
by the
just
time this broadcast is
I
said
believe
and done.
Joshua
I can see
Soto was on the
Joshua just
outside,
as
and
involved in that.
Antonio and
Russell
Alish were
following in a 260
got 3 wide
with a
late.
whole lot of damage.
I eventually
So after he
got-
turned into the corner.
I eventually
Um,
got to the replay. It took me a minute. And what happened here? Nobody could ever figure out.
It's his front end. We couldn't see it, but he
Okay.
could. The whole front end was under his car and giving him a wheelie, and then he finally backed off of it. Could go.
So yeah, Antonio and Alish, and then it's just game over.
Yeah,
And then you can
gone.
see the whole field
There goes.
piling in. Who was that?
But yeah, they got 3 wide after Joshua Soto had already turned into the corner, so there wasn't enough room on the inside. He flipped Antonio, who then ran into Alish, and then was one. So
Quite substantially over
it's just
the
one of those
last
things.
lap from
Uh-oh.
Yuanqi Lin to
Our,
Mauricio Mazelli.
Our
It is
challenger
now
looks like it's
under
being taken up by
2.5
Trenton
seconds.
Kramer.
Last
He
time I
says he's
checked,
going
it
to show
was
up. No
He
practice.
did. Trenton
And
just,
he
I
will
just saw
be
that
for
too.
sure
Well,
The draft
I mean, if
is
anybody could
already
show up
in
with
the
no
pits.
practice
He
and
knows
actually
what's
survive
happening.
at
He tries to
Cadwell,
take
it's
an
Trenton.
early pit
So
stop here.
Trenton
Get
or
that
Megan.
out of the way, but
yeah,
I don't know
exactly.
if that's
Those
gonna
two can
be
pull it
enough.
off,
Listen to
but
Banana.
everybody else I would recommend
Still
actually
running
doing
strong,
things to
still
practice.
running line of stern. They have not
Shout out
overtaken each
to
other in a
Yanchi, by
while.
the
They're
way,
working together,
for one
and
of the
they're
most beautiful
whittling
paint
the
jobs in the
laps
league, I
away.
think. That is
Now we have
gorgeous.
15
He did a
minutes
great
left
job
to
on that.
go, and really at this point, I feel like it's just
These
gonna be
guys
between
were
Lynn
battling
Panero,
hard.
Green, and Al Shutman.
Yeah.
Alish,
Meanwhile, I think Nazelli could be
Ryan,
relegated in this fight that we
Hayden,
see right now
Bobby,
between
and
Alish
Jeff
Pleva,
Fritcher.
Bramley, and Ware. Tight stuff heading into turn number 1. There are 2 by 2 heading down that start-finish straightaway not terribly long ago. And look at Bobby West in the midst of all of that as well. Who's going to prevail in this fight? Is
Bobby West did a good. I haven't seen. No offense to Bobby West, if you're watching this, man. I haven't seen you up front like this. He turned it up here.
Honestly, he was a little bit further back this race. Usually he's a little bit further up on pace. Because he actually beat me on Thursday, the Thursday strength of field race. So
Seventh in front of Bobby West. Also look at Jeff Frischer involved in this
watch
fight
this sign.
as well. And if
Send
they
it,
start to
Bobby.
battle hard, we could
Which is
see
the one that
our
surprised me
SMB
last
colleague,
season.
Josh
He
Wilkie,
really
who's
came
still
on.
leading in
Well, he
the
surprised me
category.
this week There was a as reason well. Maurizio came in. He saw them closing that gap. Maurizio could not do anything. And We're gonna look at talk them about it still eventually, working but together. And Yanchi, they are pulling shout out away to you as because well. you've got a battle Super-
here between Ware,
Super clean,
Pleva,
obviously. Last
West,
lap,
and
I'm sure
Bramley, and
we'll
Fritcher,
talk about that.
probably
That was
Wilkie,
that was a
Jason Green in
great
the
job
pit
by
zone.
him.
And
Great
that is gonna
sportsmanship.
turn
that into 3. They're not all going in together. And Jason Green was
So
actually
similar
at the
to
back of
Formula
that
Fords.
pack.
We had like 2 laps of fuel left. I didn't want to pit. This was terrifying.
If he gets out,
Oh, you mean when Alesh throws it around the outside?
Or Maurizio does, yeah. Watch this.
This may actually help him
I
out
see him
a
on my
lot.
mirror.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Oh, look
Zel's
out.
gonna make it 3 wide. That was so close with Jason Green having.
And I included my onboard here, just because,
full commitment for the driver,
yeah.
the number 44 car.
Let's wait for it.
All right, here's Jason's on board coming
This is
out.
great. This is great. There's traffic behind.
Yeah, this is fine.
Jason's like, what traffic?
This is
Oh,
fine.
there it is.
It's fine.
Uh-oh.
It's fine. Not fine.
It's fine.
Oh
my God.
God.
That was so close.
It's fine. It's fine. It's not
That
fine.
wasn't scary at all.
That was.
Second place pack when Nazelli
yeah.
came in. That gap
That
did
was so
exactly
close.
what you thought it was going to do. It absolutely went away. Now, Green has fallen
That's
off
one of the
back
highlight
Nazelli
reels. It's
just
fine,
a little
it's
bit
fine,
because
it's
he had
not
to get
fine.
around Larry Miles. But
Thought
he
for
is
sure
still
I was
close
about to
enough
hit him.
Catch that slipstream, and look, he is close.
But yeah, Maurizio had a slightly slower pit stop, and I risked it a little bit on the fuel. That's what we'll see later.
I thought you had damage, man. I was like, he is not keeping up in a straight line.
No, I was lifting.
Okay.
I was lifting, yeah.
We've got Marco and
But yeah, I was able to get just the Maurizio's drops, which I didn't think was going to happen. But
just there. Meanwhile, Fritcher, the leader in the Masters category, has come into the
and
pits
then
as well.
take 2 for the pit exits.
Hey chat, how's the stream volume, by the way, compared to our volume? Just want to make sure.
A lot of speed on the outside line. Nazelli did not get screwed. He
Oh,
may have gotten screwed there. That may have
Cut
been
away a
some
little late,
contact
but don't worry.
involving
Or a
Nazelli
little
and
too early, but don't worry.
heading
I've
into
got a
turn number
better
one.
view of it
Nazelli
coming up.
Shut the door now, shut we. Heading into turn number 1.
Oh, also shout out to Sol. He drove an amazing race for his first league race. I messaged him after the race, and he said it was his first one. So, yeah, he drove an incredible race.
Here we go.
Oh no!
Here they come.
Watch how close this is. Oh no!
Hold your line.
Hold
So
your
that
line,
was-
yeah.
Somehow still not as scary as my pit exit.
Yanchi Lin has come down into the pits.
So
we're
you
gonna see
can
how
realize
things shake out
why.
with him.
I
think
don't know
he's gonna
who
be a
was in
sitting
front
duck.
and he just
However,
veered
Panero
left
and
because
Nazelli are
he's.
actually a
I
little
think
bit
he
farther
knew
back.
what
Let's
was
see
going to
how it
happen
is.
if he didn't
Oh,
go
look
straight
at it.
left out of there.
Yanchi Lin, he didn't take
Yeah,
tires,
I
he
would have
did
done the
take
same
fuel.
thing, except I
However, the
saw
starters
Maurizio
pulled off
was
a little bit.
passing
This
the
is a
car,
very important outing for Yanchi Lin,
the
'cause
car
it's
that
gonna
hadn't pitted
decide
yet. So I was
who's
like, if
going
I
to
do that,
win the
we're
opening
wrecking.
race of this season with less than
So I just
9
stayed out of
minutes
the way.
left on the clock. Yanchi Lin
Yeah,
exiting
Yanchi.
the race in front of
I thought
Panero,
Yanchi would
Nazelli,
would
Green, and
jump us a lot more
Alshon.
than he did, because
Well
he's
done from
even if
Yanchi
he's not in the
Lin.
draft, he
Nazelli
always
coming back from the
uses a
brink
lot
of
less fuel.
absolute catastrophe to end up
But thankfully,
towards the
he
front. However, he just got moved
Marco
on
was
him
still
by
in his
Green.
draft,
They're gonna be
so
side by side
Amazing
heading
drive,
into
by the
turn
way,
number one.
Fritcher.
Jason Green
Amazing drive.
sweeping around the outside to hold off on P3. Well done from the reigning Spec
Looks
One
like you need to
champion.
look at
And
my
I think
volume,
This may be a
Adam.
3-car fight at most and a 2-car fight at least.
Well,
But as
Stevie
these
doesn't really
drivers
talk often
grind
in
their
this
way
part.
around turn
We'll
number
let
13
Stevie
for the second
talk.
to last
We'll let
time,
Stevie
they're gonna
talk a
be
little
What?
later.
flag in just
Yep.
a few moments
Yeah,
time.
once in a while.
Panero is going to be the
Yeah,
one
last
taking
lap.
out white. The real question is he going to be the one taking the checkered flag with
This,
Ryan
yeah,
Wheeler
this one gets
running down
hairy.
in 6th. He's got a fight on his hands with himself, Pleva, West, and Fritschers. Actually dropped
Well,
back
before
a
we
little
get to
bit,
the
so
leaders,
is
this is the
definitely
battle
turning
for
into a
6th.
3-horse race around this
Screw
track.
you
At
guys,
the
by the
moment,
way, for
Pleva,
giving me
meanwhile,
3
trying to get
battles
that
to
move
cover
done
right at
into
the end of
turn
the
number two.
race.
They're gonna be
You
side
guys
by
can.
side.
You
Pleva
guys
getting
can
And
just.
then
confidence
he-
on that inside line.
Alice
There you go.
seems a little
Yeah,
a little sketchy on the edges there.
Coming
Alice, leave some
on
more
to
room,
the Bentley
please.
straightaway in just
Kinda
a couple of
showed
minutes
him
on
out
for the
there.
final time
Yeah.
of the opening race of this
I'm
season.
sure he didn't do
You
it on
can cover
purpose.
them
He
all
just
with a blank, and
understeered
the
out.
real
But
question is, which one is going to be the one wearing that checkered flag as a Blanca? Panero weaving down the Bentley straightaway, trying to break that drift, but
Here we
it's not going to
come.
be enough. Yanchi
Stupid
Lin
sign.
closing.
Yeah,
Again,
great
side by
sign
side,
placement.
Heading into
Mm.
Brundle,
Yeah.
Yanchi Lin going to be stuck on the outside. However, off the
such a
inside
difficult
line,
corner to
heading
get
into
right,
Nelson
side by
and
side.
They make
Oh,
contact.
they touch.
Thank you.
Look at Jason Green.
I'm
screaming,
Jason
by
Yeah,
the
there
way.
goes
Swipe
Jason.
around the both
Yeah.
of them as
Although
the
I'm
grab
too
hands.
narrow.
Heading
Yeah.
into turn number 10.
It's not
Jason
over,
Green
though.
gotta
Yanchi gets
capitalize on
alongside.
that.
It's
Yeah,
not
you're right,
over.
Adam. It's not over. Yanchi Lin gonna have
Oh,
that
what happened
inside
here,
line.
Jason? What
Heading
happened
to
here
turn
on the
number 12. It's
straightaway?
gonna be a drag
You mind?
race
I mean, it's
between
going
these two, I
fine
think,
right here.
before
Oh,
they
yeah,
head
it's
into
fine.
turn number
It's
13.
fine.
Jason Green got that
Then it
inside
becomes
line.
not fine,
Will
does
he be
it?
able to carry
Oh,
it
no.
on corner
Oof.
race, and Yanchi Lin and him make a
Oh,
little
wait
bit
for
of
it.
contact.
Oh.
Yep.
Yanchi doesn't
Because I'm like,
And
okay, it's
there
fine,
he
it's fine. I
goes.
can get the draft.
He's
Why are they catching me? Why are they passing me? And then I looked and I was like,
oh, I'm
sputtering.
You guys
Sputtering.
Oh, you were
Yeah.
sputtering?
Yeah, about
Oh.
100 yards before the line starts sputtering.
How's it feel,
Oh,
Jason?
no.
There was just no time between all
It almost
of them.
worked.
That was absolutely insane. Towards the end
Almost
of
worked.
this
I
race.
noticed
My
going
voice
into
is
last
on
lap,
the
I was about
verge
100
of
yards short.
giving out.
Yeah,
I tried to save a little bit on that lap, but
you
It's-
wasn't
yeah.
saving.
yeah, incredible race.
5 cars within
amazing
3
finish.
tenths.
Yep.
5, yeah, that's a
And-
blink of an eye. 5
Nope.
cars in a blink
Nobody crashed. Nobody. Well, I mean, you know,
after lap 1.
some incidents. But yeah, shout out to Yanchi. He actually lifted a little bit to let after he and Marco made contact, which is half the reason why I got past them. But I set him up. I waited. I had a super slow entry to set up the exit just in case that happened. But yeah, shout out to Yanchi for lifting and letting Marco catch up again. Again, shout out to Sol. Usually it takes people a little bit to kind of get the feel for how to race the SRF in general and the Weekend
Yeah.
Warriors races.
Yeah.
But his racecraft was incredible. Had super good patience. Was aggressive at the right points, and nailed the pit stop. Usually somebody's first race they do not nail the pit stop.
Yeah. No.
So yeah, Sol, great job, man. Alish bringing home P6, Bobby in P7. Ryan, I think it might be Ryan's first race with us as well.
It was
Yeah, I
because I had to add him into the override, so 100% was
Okay.
Ryan's first.
Yeah. So yeah, top 10 first race, great job. Dan P9, Simon, another person coming back this season after taking a season off. Welcome back, Simon. But yeah, great job, everybody. Super difficult track, very easy to get wrong, and yeah, some typical incredible racing.
I do want to say before we move on here, if I ever hear anybody give me any more crap about running out of fuel, anybody, I'm going to reference you to this race. Jason Green did it, and Joshua.
I mean,
Wilkie.
this one wasn't even that bad. Yeah,
Joshua
Hey,
did it
Adam,
too.
Adam, Jason finished.
Yeah.
All right, Stevie. All right, you know what? We're gonna
And
go back
it's
so you can see all of our faces now. But
it's a
Yeah.
little bit of a different story when you don't have to make a pit stop for fuel and you run out of fuel.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just
Yeah.
saying. Just saying.
Yeah.
You know.
All
Listen,
right. So
But yeah.
I'll share the there you go. Do it a little different this week. See
Yeah,
how that goes.
this looks incredible, by the
this is
way.
good.
So good.
So there you got all three leagues, the Oulton Park for the Formula V's, and Thortolo just a hair over Jason Green, and we're talking inches. And Michael McConnell bringing up for the bronze. Andrew Love pulling out S2.
Let's go, Andrew.
Simone Francione,
Hmm.
I think that's the way you pronounce it. And then Gary Wilbold. The Formula Fords, Jason Berry was out there with a 1.5 second lead, the biggest lead of the day, the winning margin. Ian Joyner, Yongxi Lin, and then you see Josh Wookie, Andrew Love, and Morn Human, as well as Jorg Monty is back again. Antonio Reese, Jim Brewster running out the Masters. So I keep saying maybe Jorg's got that monkey off his back. I had it for a season, so he had it. We'll see who's got it this season.
You keep repeating it, and it's gonna come back. So
Yeah, it probably will. I'll probably be sharing it this time.
yeah, don't bully Monty.
Yeah.
Stevie, I do want to
Mark?
say, I want to.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you on any of these leaderboards lately. I would love to get a chance to see you up there racing with all of us again. You got to you got to make some time one Sunday, Stevie, to come out and actually race with us. You know that, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll try to. Okay. Yeah, but see, I run with these old guys down here, and they're still aliens. I mean,
Yeah, you're Monty and Antonio.
Yeah. So Marco Pinero on his
Welcome back,
back
Marco.
with us the first time. He and Yongxi Lin, both of them, first time back, and podium. Rachel hanging in there. Said that was 5 cars, 0.3 of a second. That was just awesome finish.
Yep.
Paul, and Joshua Wilkie bringing home the bronze. Congrats, Josh.
Yes.
Yeah. Josh ran out of fuel at the end and kind of miscommunication with the driver behind him. Got tagged and spun around. So the disappointing from Josh, but he drove a great race up until that point.
Yeah. And then we got Antonio and Jeff Richer, Brad Cathcart rounding out the Masters. Like I said, Jeff came on. He was our champion in Masters last season. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't
Great
count him
job.
out.
Great job, Jeff. I mean, I think we all thought Jeff was going to win that race from about 30 minutes in, but clearly he didn't. But I want to jump to the YouTube chat here real quick, Stevie. Trenton Kramer said the last 6 races I've seen Stevie on the roster, he's ended up upside down.
Oof.
All right, Trenton.
Oof.
Trenton just made my list.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Trenton's on the list. So, all right.
Real quick, Cadwell, Stevie.
Yes, sir. Cadwell.
Yes. So obviously,
Cadwell.
SRFs. I made a bit of a joke this morning in the SRF chat, saying, you know what? If I wanted to run Cadwell, basically, I'd just take my truck to my local indoor go-kart track and run it. What are you guys thinking here? Obviously, lap traffic is going to be a factor because it is such a small track. How do you, if you're stuck behind lap traffic coming out of turn 1, you're stuck behind him for half the lap?
Not turn 1. I mean, so like the sectors 1 and 2, you can overtake.
That's sector 3 is when it gets tight.
Yeah, sector 3. Yeah, it's you can make the move. It's not a good idea. But yeah, sector, like going into turn 1 is potential overtake. Going up the hill is pretty much the draft straight. So going into that, going up the hill. I forget what corner number it is, but that's probably the best passing zone on the track for not losing as much time. But after that, that's when it gets super sketchy to overtake. So yeah, it's people will have to be patient for sure. You get too aggressive, it's a super narrow track. You're gonna get net code. You're gonna get get off tracks, potentially wreck the field. So yeah, people will need to have patience for sure. But it's doable. So
Yeah.
I have faith.
I'm excited, and like I told Stevie and everybody this morning, my gender reveal party is on Sunday, so I will not be racing with you guys. And I think that's a blessing in disguise for me around Cadwell. But we're gonna have about 20 to 25 people over here watching you guys. So get ready, guys. No pressure or anything.
Yeah. All right, let's see if we can bring our special guest in.
Yeah, let's get Dave in here.
Waiting room.
No, just drag him, Stevie. Just drag him. Not the actual room.
Oh, well, I thought, okay, there we go. Nope. You do it.
You dragged.
Well,
I don't have
I
Can you do
would,
it?
but I do not have admin
privileges.
privileges. There we go. We got Dave.
And there's Dave.
So we got Dave in Riverside, but we still can't see him in the we can't hear him because he's not in our Discord room. We got to make sure to drag him. Stevie, just drag Dave from the waiting room up into us. Just his actual name.
Yeah, it's clicking on waiting room instead of him.
Mm-hmm. Don't click. Just click on his name and drag. You don't have to click. Just click once and drag.
That's what I'm doing.
Or right click on my name, give me admin.
All right.
I got this, guys. It's fine.
Stand by.
Oh, I see something here. Maybe. Move to. Nope.
We will be right back, guys.
Or
right back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good, Stevie.
All right, and we are back after some gremlins decided to work with us, play with us a little bit, but we're back.
It's
Thanks,
fine.
Rel.
Adam will remove it in post.
Yeah, yeah. So our special guest for the evening, Mr. Dave Ogburn, and for Dave, introduce you to these two knuckleheads. You got Adam Thompson that does our broadcast. He is the one that created slow motion broadcasting.
Okay.
And Jason Green is one of our Weekend Warrior champions. He's been around for quite a while, does some coaching online, not the real world yet, but
No.
yeah, not yet. So, and then our guest, Mr. Dave Ogburn, is for his profession, you're a Goodyear test driver, if I remember that correctly.
That's true.
Yeah. And he is also what I would call one of the top drivers in the SCCA Spec Racer Ford class in the nation. In fact, he can back that up with a silver medal from the national championship last year. So congrats, Dave. I hadn't had a chance to tell you that.
Thank you. Yeah, we get to try again in a couple of weeks. So
Yeah, Road America this time.
yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it.
That's going to be a challenge.
The draft fest Road America.
Yeah, we know what it's like online anyway.
Yeah.
Also, in July you went with? Was it July? You went to Germany?
Yes. Yeah, it was late
Yeah.
July, early August. Yeah, with Judson and Denny and Josh, all Spec Racer guys, over to race at the Nürburgring. So yeah, it's been a pretty interesting year, racing wise. But yeah, very, very fun. Feel very fortunate for the opportunities I've had.
Some WRL endurance stuff during the year.
Yes. Yep, absolutely. So yeah, I have 3 races after the runoffs in WRL, with kind of the same crew. So we'll run Watkins Glen, Sebring, and Coda. So
Nice.
as long as I don't screw up registration tomorrow, so to make sure Denny's not available, so I have the pressure of screwing it up for the whole team if I don't get us registered. So
yeah,
I could be
go ahead
like,
and
It'll be fine.
yeah, go ahead and tell the name of your WRL team.
yeah. So we're our WRL team. We're the 3 fast guys in Denny. So it's been fun with that name. It was something over a few beers and text messages that came up, and we kind of thought it would be like a little funny inside joke, but yeah, everyone seems to enjoy it, and whenever we get a podium and it goes well, everybody who's there always asks, who's Denny, who's the slow guy. I think it worked in our favor for the
Well, it doesn't
first
say slow, Denny.
Yeah, hey, right. Hey, it could be 3 fast and 1 super fast. However, that's how Denny interprets it, which is maybe a generous interpretation.
And it's Denny Stripling is the Denny that we're talking about. He's also
Correct.
one of the top Spec Racer Ford guys in the country, and
Hang
we'll
on,
try to
Stevie.
get him on at some point.
So
Yes,
Trenton said fingers crossed for a cleaner weekend at RA for the runoffs compared to the sprints and the Cap Majors. He said been a high incident per lap this year, if you catch my drift. So
Yeah, Trenton was up there. So
At Road America?
yeah,
Never.
Right.
I was up there last year for the June sprints, and there was quite a kerfuffle coming out of the King. So
Yeah, I mean, I think the nature of the event certainly lends to it. Winner take all, and there's on the low side 15, maybe the high side 20. They probably have a realistic chance of finishing on the podium, and so there's going to be a lot of people that there's going to see some really fast drivers that don't finish in the top 10 and finish. Every year there are always some non-finishers. Things happen, but there's going to be some really fast drivers, former winners, podium finishers that finish probably to them, and hopefully I'm not one of them, but a disappointing 11th or 12th. So it's going to be really tough. It's going to be very hard. Probably the hardest race I've ever done.
Yeah, it's going to be something to tune in and watch for sure. We're going to back up a little bit because I always like to ask our guests the same kind of question that Brian Belinsky does on his Inside the SCCA podcast. I kind of took a page from him and want to ask, how did you get started with sim racing? What brought you into that, and what kept you going in sim racing? Because I know you still use the sim.
Yeah, absolutely. So sim racing, again, I thought of it more as playing video games at the time, but it helped stoke the fire that, became a passion later. But, I always grew up playing sports video games and into cars. And so, my brother's 5 years younger, but we would play Need for Speed, Test Drive, and then it became a little more realistic with Gran Turismo. And then into the Forza platform, got a wheel for the first time. And then in 2000, I think it was 9, I was working for Honda at the time, and my roommate, best friend, his name is Mike Bobbitt, and his cousin worked for this new company that I'd never heard of called iRacing. And so we signed up and had a little, I think it was those Logitech Momo wheels. I think I bought it for $50 from a buddy.
Those were good back in the day, Dave.
Yeah, it was nice. And so I ran it on my like aging college laptop. And so I've been on iRacing platform for 15 years and have used it. It's kind of ebbed and flowed on how I've used it and how much I've used it. Somewhat related to the quality of the equipment I had at the time and the quality of the internet where I was living, But it's always been a tool to drive more. None of us race as much as we would like to. So it's been, whether it's staying sharp from a wheel point of view or learning new tracks or just having fun, having friends over, doing lap time battles, picking random car track combos and seeing who can go the fastest. I've really been, involved with sim racing for a long time, probably as long as I've really been into the cars and racing in general. They've kind of gone hand in hand. I've gotten more into sim racing recently as I'm sort of looking for every advantage to help my real world racing. And I think it plays a part in that. So I worked with Sim Seats, which is a company out of Richmond, Virginia, and now have a really high quality sim. I have no more excuses anymore about the quality. And so the only thing keeping me from winning is me, which is somewhat disappointing, but also it has been a lot of fun. I've started to use it from a coaching point of view with a few guys that I coach in spec racers, but then also using it for myself for more wheel to wheel racing, because relative to the guys that I run with in spec racers, I tend to not run as many race weekends. And so, the thought for me is, if they're running, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the big super tour weekends, against the top competitors and getting, that level of competition, and I'm doing it maybe 2 or 3 times a year, I've got to do something to stay sharp from a racecraft point of view. And so, I don't get on as often as I would like to, but I am using it, whether it's hopping into the rookie Formula Ford league and just finding a race, or I do run the spec racer. I've run with you guys a few times and enjoyed it when I'm available on a Sunday. And
there's FVs out there too, by the way, Dave.
Excuse me?
There's FVs out there too. I don't want to say that too loud, but
I know. I'm sorry. I drove the V for the first time on the dirt oval at the the virtual runoffs.
Yep.
So, you were there. You were with
us.
He
was there.
It was a little bit of I enjoyed it. It was not what I expected.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Dave. I was just so fast. I didn't see anybody else around. I was
Throw that out there. Yeah.
I expected that comment. So so that was that was the first time in the V. So it's exactly the racetrack I expected to run on for the first time.
Yeah. Well, we had you in the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors for a season or two, a couple seasons ago. So
So I've kind of been I mainly go back and forth between the Formula Ford and the Spec Racer Ford. So those are I like the Formula Ford. To me, it's still a drafting car, so that works from like the racecraft point of view from the spec racer. So I try to I run most of the races in drafting cars, so I can hone or continue to work on that side of the real racing. I like the balance in the way the Formula Ford drives. I can drive it a little more neutral to oversteer. I struggle a little more in the spec racer, but the spec racer is drivable and I enjoy it. So I've actually probably been racing the spec racer Ford more recently than the than the Formula Ford. I kind of just, whichever track I know, if it's that week, I kind of just pick that one.
Okay. Well, we'd be glad to have you anytime, but I was
Yeah.
going to ask you how you think the sim and iRacing are relatable to your real world. You know, how does that go hand in hand and use one to help the other sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think as with anything, if you take a focused approach to try to improve in an aspect of, whether it's technique or racecraft, you can build similar tools in the sim and in the real life, and you can use the sim to complement what you're working on in real life. um the benefit of the sim is that you have unlimited track time, you have a reset button, um and you're not burning dollars every time you're running around the track. So for me, I use the sim more for racecraft practice, getting race starts, passing, being passed, staying in the draft, not getting dropped, all the type of things I'm trying to do in the real spec racer races. But to me, the racing is similar enough. The physics are close enough. There's always going to be some difference. It's never perfect, but I'm a big believer, if you learning how to be fast is a skill. And so whether it's go-karts or oval track racing or motocross, anything where you are working on being better, being faster, being more competitive, it all can help towards, your main form of racing, if that's real racing or sim racing or a different type. And through my coaching, I've seen drivers that have had, skiing backgrounds, mountain bike racing backgrounds, motocross backgrounds, and all of that, it builds some of the skills of vision, seeing the line, seeing where, and it's not just where you place the car, but the attitude of the car at the apex. All of those things can build and complement each other. And then also learning tracks, for sure. It's an incredibly useful skill. I got to go to the Nürburgring a few times for work, for testing for Goodyear, and I spent hours and hours and hours on Gran Turismo. And I think when I was going was right when iRacing came out with the model. So once iRacing came out with the model, I used iRacing more than Gran Turismo and PlayStation. But there's things that you still need to feel in real life before you're, full out. But for sure, it's an amazing starting point, especially if you have the awareness to know that, okay, I there's a few things I need to figure out maybe before I drive it like a quali sim lap with a reset button. Because I know there's a big stigma at the Nürburgring with, people showing up for sessions with, PlayStation laps. So I'll get yelled at by a German after saying this, I'm sure. But if you take it with a slightly cautious approach, it's and you can use video of a similar car or a trusted driver. But to me, the sim is a big tool for either learning a new track, familiarizing a new track. I mean, one thing I do with it as well for the endurance races is use it to practice in and out laps, because that's something you typically don't do a lot of, on the test day, because we're rotating through 4 drivers. We'll each take one session, so you have one out and one in, and typically, you're kind of getting up to speed, but the sim can practice that, breaking points or a general reference for how you attack in and out laps. So the sim gives you ability to practice a lot of details that can make you more prepared when you get to the track.
Stevie, I got to cut in.
Here, Adam.
If that's okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. So you mentioned a couple times here at the beginning of the question, racecraft.
Yeah.
I'm not going to shout anybody out here. There is someone in the chat right now that may or may not have destroyed a couple of my races on Sunday night. But when you say racecraft, what do you talk about when you mean racecraft, and how does that transfer over to the real life thing? Because everybody says racecraft, but racecraft is such a broad term. What is your term of racecraft?
Well, I mean, I think it's any way you interact with the other cars around you. Well, one of the big things I notice from and this with the Weekend Warriors League, there's more of this, but especially when you drop into like a just an iRacing regular race, whatever you call them, the official series.
The officials,
the official series. there's a patience and working together that you have to have in the real world. I mean, yes, you have to be aggressive, you have to make moves, but there is a balance between trying to pass someone in every single corner versus being slightly more patient and setting up one move that sticks. And one thing I notice from and I may be generalizing, but especially in the official races, is if someone is faster, I mean, it's a lunge, it's a pop, it's and if let's say we're third and fourth, it ends up helping the leaders check out. So I think it's more racecraft is all it's managing the entire race. Anything outside of the driving is how I think about it. So in Road America, this will, for us in the Spec Racer Forward, will play a part. I mean, if I'm sitting in fourth in the pack or fifth in the pack, there are places where if I have a small run, I'm not going to take it on the third place car because I know that it could maybe cause a split and then we could lose the draft from the cars in front. And I consider that part of racecraft too. It's not just making a pass, making it stick. It's making good passes that help you get the ultimate goal or don't obliterate your race and everybody behind you and maybe let 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars.
Yeah. Having an idea what the consequences are.
Right, but it's also being passed, and one of the things that I've and actually, we talked about Denny. Denny and I have had this conversation quite a bit because I had 2 races at Hallett last year. There's a Hallett Super Tour Saturday and Sunday. I clearly didn't learn. I made the same mistake, but I fought 2 passes, tooth and nail. I was leading both races. I think I led 40 of the 55 total laps and none of the right ones. So I did a real good job at pacing the field for 20 laps and then obliterating my race. But both times, somebody got a small run, went inside. I fought it on the outside, ended up 2 by 2 going down the front straight at Hallett. Then the third place car gets a draft on the front. Now I'm shuffled back to third, then fourth. And so if I had just slotted back into second, I then just have to make 1 pass, not 4 passes. And so I think there's also times of when somebody has a run, I think we're all guilty of it in the sim and in real life. We watch Formula One, we watch IndyCar.
How hard is it?
Background.
How hard is it in that moment though to think
it's
about
hard.
that? Like
it takes patience. It's really, really hard. But there are times when you just have to make the calculation that I just need to let this pass go and slot back in and not cause myself to lose more than 1 position. Because it's very easy, especially in a drafting type car like the Spec Racer or the Formula Ford, you can get shuffled back if you're on the wrong groove coming in in a certain corner.
Yep.
So that's what I mean with racecraft. It's all of that. It's the decision making that you make with the cars around you, passing, being passed, and how you manage trying to get to the front of your pack, whether it's the lead pack or the second pack, whatever group you're racing in.
Yep. At
Sorry,
the right
Stevie,
time.
I took it over again.
Oh,
My bad.
That's fine. No, we're all good.
No, that was a fantastic question. I think everybody in the SRF league would probably. I know we always ask the other real life SRF drivers this, but how similar is the sim compared to real life in terms of the draft effect in the SRF?
I don't think it's quite as strong. So I don't feel it's in real life. I notice a wind difference more, and I don't know if that's just I don't look at the wind in the sim and I pay more attention to it in real life, where it's easier to get that information. But there's a significant difference whether we're going into a headwind or tailwind.
Gotcha.
Cross not as much, but depends on whatever you have, more head or more tail. So to me, it's close enough where I can still practice the things I want to practice. It's not non-existent. It feels to me like it's a little on the weak side, but that's just my opinion.
So it's
I haven't
stronger in the sim.
I've tried bump drafting, and that does not seem as effective in the sim. And
everybody says that. Everybody says that, and you can damage yourself much easier in the sim than apparently in real life.
It's not. It can be unpleasant in real. You can certainly cause problems, but it's like a lot of times if we're in a pack and if there's a small split, like you can give somebody a little tap and help them get up, like it feels like it shifts them up a half car length. That sort of stuff I feel like I can't do in the sim. And then when you lock in with another car, like early on the straightaway, both cars feel a significant difference down the straightaway. The back car, I know we're going faster, and I don't get that sense. I almost feel like if I'm pushing in the sim, that I'm just pushing up against something that's not moving. I don't feel like I'm propelling the car forward.
Yeah, you're not making progress.
Right. Like I can't tell if it's working at all, really.
The only thing you really notice are the engine RPMs. I mean, that's the only way to actually feel what's going on. I don't know. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you can pull that off in the sim, but it's something you have to practice, and you really have to be the driver that you're pushing and the driver being pushed has to know that they're about to be pushed.
Okay.
So being on Discord really helps with that.
Okay.
Or you haven't raced with that driver before, but yeah, if you try to do it just in a random official session, it's probably not going to work out.
Yeah, no, that the last time I did it was on the Nürburgring week. I tried to push somebody down the Dottinger, and it was like I just gave up. It was like, okay, I'll just pass you, and then you pass me, because also you're together for like 30 seconds, so I just felt like it's getting uncomfortable.
Oh, real quick. Sorry, Stevie. Got someone in the chat. Daniel Salmon said, on another note, I can't find where you can actually buy an SRF kit. I don't know what question that would go to. Talking about like a kit, like a kit car or anything like that. Where do you go to do things?
So the company that makes them is called SCCA Enterprises. They make the Spec Racer Ford and the Formula Enterprises 2, so the FE2. So it's the spec Formula car class, and I think it's scca.com-e. I think that's all it is the website. And there's contact info on the website. Roby Clark is the president. Mike Davies is the main tech person. And then Nikki LaRue is where they're all great and would be able to help. In the end, you have to buy through what's called a CSR, customer support representative. So they're basically, it's not quite a franchise model, but they are essentially the official teams and prep shops of SCCA Enterprises. So anybody can form a team, a small business where you have either rental cars or you take care of, cars that individuals own, but only the CSRs can sell parts, rebuild transmissions, and put cars. I think that I guess you could have an independent prep shop put a car together, but the CSRs have so much experience that's so on the website, they'll have a list of all the CSRs, and there's one in every region. There's one in Virginia, there's one in Georgia, one in South Carolina, one in Florida, one in Texas. So they're spaced all throughout the country, and they would be your main place to start, is reaching out to a local CSR, because they'll likely, as they have drivers come in and out of their team, they help their drivers sell their cars if they're getting out of it. So they'll know of cars available. I bought my car used. Most people get started, either rent a car for a day, meet somebody that's generous enough to maybe work out a deal for one test day, or they buy a used car.
Sure. Cool.
Yeah. Anything else, guys?
I'm good.
I think we. Oh, never mind. Jason.
I have a question. Did you hop directly into the SRF, or did you run another class before that?
So I ran T4 for 1 year. So I started autocrossing when I was 15, and my dad and I founded a local car show, and so it was just street cars and local autocross. And then when I graduated college, I started racing go-karts. So I raced tag and shifter karts, and I had done some track days, but I had never wheel-to-wheel raced on a big road course. I'd only done it in karting for a few years. So I did solo nationals and autocross competitively for a few years, and then wanted to start road racing again. Started in T4 in 2016, and that year I had a lot of fun. It got me started, but a lot of the races I went to, I had 3 competitors. I think the biggest field I raced in was 5 outside of the runoffs. I did go to the runoffs, which was a financial mistake. But there's a piece of advice I would give is, yeah. But anyway, I look back and say I shouldn't have gone, but also going there and getting my butt kicked helped motivate me to get better and do more. So, you can't rewrite history and have it work out the same. So I basically I did not want the runoffs to be the only race of the year where I got to race in a deep field. Because how am I going to improve, with one race a year that matters? And so I looked at Spec Racer Ford and Spec Miata, and it happened to be that my wife's parents' neighbor in Dallas had a Spec Racer Ford, was looking to sell it. And also the Spec Racer Ford field in Texas typically had bigger car counts than Spec Miata. So I just went with Spec Racer. And so I started in Gen 2. The car I bought had the Gen 3 conversion kit. I bought it with the car, but it was a running Gen 2. And then I did my conversion after the 2017 season. And then, I've been a part of it ever since.
Awesome.
You ran a season of Gen 2s?
Yeah, I did one season of Gen 2. So that was 2017, the huge runoffs year. So I did go to the runoffs that year. It went better than the first year. First year was
that was Indy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Indy. So that 2017, and I was still autocrossing then. So I attempted to do both for a little while, and then I realized that I was being mediocre at two things instead of good at one, and so I decided that it was too hard to try to, financially and time wise, and I needed to spend. Spec Racer was too hard for me to do it part time, so I needed to commit.
Yeah, and that you have done. So
I got one more question, Stevie. I'm so sorry.
Go for it.
I'm so sorry.
Go
So,
for it.
Dave, I don't know how long this question is going to take to answer, but main goal out of all of this, everything you're doing right now in Spec Racer, all that stuff. What is your main goal to move on from this? Do you want to be a full-time racer, or is this just what do you want to do?
So my answer has changed. I would say, so when I started, my goal was to, at some point being racing in a professional series, whether that's SRO or the low, IMSA Pilot Challenge, something like that. How to get there, I had no idea, but I knew I had to race more, get better, blah, blah, blah. And I would say my having kids has changed it some. I think I always looked at my driving career as like it would end when I had kids. And now that we've had kids, I'm still racing. I'm finding a way to do it. My goal is to just keep doing it because I'm having a ton of fun and taking that pressure off myself of I have to win the runoffs this year. I have to achieve X, Y, Z. Has made it a lot more fun. And I've also had better results. So I think there's something in there. I certainly, I have some bucket lists, some dreams, some things I would like to do. Winning the runoffs is absolutely one of them. I would like to race in a professional series, whether it's a one-off or a partial season at some point. But at this point, I'm not going to earn my income from driving race cars. I am coaching, and I'm enjoying that. I doubt that will ever be full time, but it's fun to do part time, and I'm learning. And overall, my goal is to continue racing with people that I enjoy racing with and being pushed. I don't care how long I'll do this. If I ever am lucky enough to win the runoffs, it's never going to be easy. I could win the runoffs one year and qualify 17th the next year, and so it's difficult and challenging. And I just want to keep doing it.
Well, to anybody out there that's having kids or is about to have kids, me, listen to that. It's never too late. Never too late, guys.
Yeah, my first road race was when I was 30, and so
that's even better. Yeah,
I would say I've definitely, if you told me when I started, some of the things that have happened and gone well and gone right, I'd be very happy with how things turned out. So overall, it's if you keep putting a good foot forward, you find people that you like to be around, and there's a lot of great people in Spec Racer. I've, some of my best friends in the world are guys that I, only see a couple times a year, but we talk constantly. And so it's made the whole process super enjoyable. And the racing is hard. and the racing is, you know, for the most part fair. There's always little things. I mean, and I'm guilty too. So it wouldn't be any fun if it also was maybe never a little borderline. But yeah, it's just I'm happy to, you know, be staying where I am, and if I get an opportunity, and then that goes away, then I'll go back to the spec racer. So
Cool.
It's all good.
So there's a picture of you at VIR at the last runoffs, and I believe that's Franklin in front.
Let me bring up. Yes, that's Franklin, and that should be Morgan. Right
Morgan,
behind.
our good buddy Morgan Burkhart, right there on your
Yeah.
tail.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Morgan did great.
For
I was
his
bummed
first.
for him. I was bummed for him when he dropped out.
Yeah.
You know, there's also a feeling of like an 18-year-old kid that makes you look bad in qualifying. I still maintain that Russ and I pulled him to his qualifying lap. And
Yeah,
if
there you
Denny had
go.
not showed up late, Russ
Yeah.
and I wouldn't have had to pull him around, and then we wouldn't have pulled Morgan around. So,
Yeah. But what he's getting at is Morgan in his first runoffs his last time put his car on the pole for his very first runoffs. Thanks to Dave Ogburn.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Yeah. It was, well, there was a 4-car train, and with, I don't know, 10 minutes to go or something, he had a suspension failure.
Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 laps to go, because I remember right after he dropped out is when I went to the lead, and I only led the wrong laps, which is continues to be you know, it's hard to tell sometimes because I haven't raced with him, and so I was kind of sitting in second, third for most of the race, and Franklin and Russ. It always seemed like Franklin was in between Russ and I, and Russ is one of the 3 fast guys in Denny. So, you know, there was a lot of talk of like Franklin beat the 2 teammates, and in some ways, I look back on it, and there could have been a way that we could have worked together and made sure that one of us won. But then the other hard part is sometimes you have a move and you're just this 1% less likely to make it on the guy who you're, you know, staying with. And
racecraft, Dave. Racecraft.
Exactly. That's part of it. Wrecking your friends. But Morgan, you know, was in 4th, and I could never really get a sense, was he hanging on or was he just waiting? And he never got a chance to show, which I felt bad for. Obviously, he's got tons of speed and he's doing great things. I still keep in touch with him. And
he's in the pilot challenge now.
It may have been different. You know, I don't know how much pace he had at the end of the race. You just never know, because he was just sitting there. He was never gone, but he was never lunging. And maybe he'll listen to this and completely disagree. But I just always remember him sitting there, and it was like, he's still there. He's still there. He's still there.
I had the feeling watching it that he was sitting back and watching and learning from you guys, and going to spend the race pretty much learning, and then at the last lap or two, then see what he had.
Yep. And then in the last lap, when everybody has the plan to go to the front.
That's
when it all gets interesting. You know, it's pretty cordial on laps like 1 through 14. It tends to be 15 where things go down.
Yep.
Well, we have run long tonight, partly because of our little break that we had, but Dave, I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. It was fascinating, some good information, some educational stuff for our sim racers. I think they could learn a lot from what you have brought tonight.
100%.
Really, really super appreciate.
Yeah,
and we'll be following you.
It was good to
talk.
Be
following you in a couple of weeks.
Try to join this weekend. So
let's go.
It's called Caldwell Park.
No, don't join this weekend, Dave. Of all the weekends to join.
Okay. It is an amazing. It's super easy track. It's super easy.
Does it in any way relate to Road America? Because that's probably
no. Totally opposite. Totally opposite.
All right, I'm probably out. I'm sorry.
It's worse than Hallett. It's narrower than Hallett with some elevation.
Yeah.
It sounds fun in real life. You know, it's these British tracks are cool. I mean, it's different. You know, they remind me a little bit of I've been to Blackhawk Farms one time. It's like a country road through the forest. It just happens to be a racetrack, where like Road America is a racetrack. You know, it's long straightaways. It's different.
Where are the Formula Fords at this time? I forgot.
I will let you know.
Barber.
Oh yeah, Barber.
Yeah,
The
there you
full
go.
layout.
Also not
Formula
like Road
Ford.
America, but
Yeah,
I mean, it's
Formula
more
Fords
like
are
it than
closer.
Cadwell is.
yeah.
yeah.
Closer.
It's
So, all right. So we will call that a night. And once again, thank you very much, Dave. Super appreciate it. And
Thanks
we'll
for having
follow
me,
you
guys.
for the
I
runoffs.
enjoyed it. Thank you.
All right,
right.
sorry. I gotta say, hey Tam, thank you so much for watching. This is the first time you've come in here and said anything. So thank you, Tam, for watching. And Stevie, we're out of here, aren't we?
We are out of here.
All right.